The same report of the parliamentary committee responsible for overseeing the crisis of governance and finance at Eskom. The report contains explosive information and allegations regarding corporate misdeeds at the parastatal. The report allegedly leaked lists 44 people and 25 companies which a parliamentary committee suspects of being captured. The National Prosecuting Authority and the Special Investigative Unit will be given the report to take forward. It's reported that the report is not yet finalized, even though the committee completed its work in April. The chairperson of the committee, Zukiswa Rantao, said the document was still being worked on and will be sent to the committee for adoption soon. Staying with news of state-owned enterprises, some have touted privatization as the answer to dealing with these troubled state-owned companies, while others have suggested that a total shutdown should happen, saying that government should not be running businesses. The troubled state-owned enterprises have milked government coffers with bailouts continuously. They have also been stressed by rating agencies as a serious threat to the fiscus through the contingent liability.
Many agree corruption, political interference and wrong policy environment have paralyzed many state-owned enterprises and undermined the economy. With limited resources, continued bailouts are not an option. Reforms are underway at Eskom, Transnet, Denel, SAA, SA Express and PRASA. The inability of state-owned enterprises to make enough profits to service their debt raises the risk of calls on guarantees, forcing government to act fast. Mboweni says a reconfiguration of state-owned enterprises on the cards.
The reconfiguration of state-owned companies. There's a lot that's contained in that terminology of reconfiguration of state-owned enterprise. It means, amongst others, that we should be open-minded about inviting either equity partners or be open to closure of some business activities, restart if needs be.
Others believe privatization is not exactly the answer to the challenges at hand. Dr. Irajabedian says competent people need to be appointed to state-owned enterprises and for them to be run like businesses. He says what is also critical is the policy framework they operate in that need to be reviewed to structure them in a way that will serve the national interest.
The first thing that we have to do, we have to ask in each sector, the most important one, energy. Have we got the right policy? My answer is, as of now, no. We're trying to fix Eskom. The question before that has to be, can we fix our energy policy? Within that, then we have to ask, what is the role of Eskom? If the energy policy is correct and put up to date in the 21st century, Eskom would have a different role than it has now. So the prime culprit at the moment why we cannot fix Eskom is because we're trying to avoid dealing with our energy policy.
Policy fellow at the South African Institute of Race Relations, John Kane Berman, says government should leave business to entrepreneurs.
British Airways has been a huge success. It was privatised. It took 6 or 7 years to do it. It's been a huge success. The same is true of Lufthansa and KLM. Swiss Air is now running again after the predecessor went bankrupt. It's a successful airline. There are plenty of examples in all sorts of other countries. I think even in Canada, the air traffic control system was privatised. The British Post Office was privatised. That's successful. German Post Office was privatised. That's successful. Plenty of examples. And I think ports in Australia were privatised, successful. Airports in London were privatised, and they compete with one another for airlines to fly into them.
Others believe in an economy like South Africa with high inequality levels, well-run state-owned entities can help address the imbalances created by the past. Economist at Wits University, Lumkile Mondi, says state-owned companies could also help bridge the trade deficit between African countries.
In South Africa, where the economy is predominantly in white hands, where most of the capability creation for black entrepreneurs and black skills development can only be accessed en masse through SOEs. So economically, they not make sense, but capability and skill-wise, they're an excellent platform for creating that. I, for one, I'm a big beneficiary of a state-owned enterprise where I learned a lot of the skills through SOEs. So we've got a dilemma whether, given that blacks continue being excluded in the mainstream of the economy, where can blacks learn skills to be able to run their own businesses?
Addressing foreign investors at the SA Tomorrow Investment Conference in New York, Finance Minister Tito Mboweni said South African Airways should be closed down. This as it has been dependent on government bailouts since 2011. But during deliberations on the 2018 revised fiscal framework, the Finance Committee Chairperson Yunus Karim said this is not ANC policy, and that ANC policy is that SAA must get a strategic equity partner. Tlora Sefako Mosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.